Hello, this video is part of a series of presentations designed to support you as you work towards gaining an internship as part of your study with Melbourne School of Engineering. I'm Jane, an Industry Placement Coordinator within the school. In this video, we'll be looking at how to put together an effective resume for your engineering or IT internship application. Your resume is your professional self-marketing document. It presents key information about you, your qualifications, skills and experience, and demonstrates your ability to undertake the job in question. Employers not only want to see facts about you, your resume needs to communicate your enthusiasm for engineering or IT as a career and your interest in working for the company. Overall, your resume should present you as a future engineering IT professional. Let's take a look at the information you need to include. You'll need to start with all of your contact details: name, email, mobile and LinkedIn profile. Be sure to only include the information you need. You don't need to include date of birth or marital status. The example on the screen is a good template to follow. Next, you may choose to include a profile or summary. A profile or summary can be an effective way to give the reader an understanding of your most relevant skills and experiences. It needs to be targeted towards the organisation you are applying to and should include specific examples. These kinds of statements can be used to summarise key points you want to highlight to the reader. An example might be, current mechanical engineering master's student at the University of Melbourne. Achievements include team leader of a student engineering team participating in an engineering case competition, undertook a semester of study in Beijing, China during 2015, awarded Employee of the Month for customer service excellence twice during 2016. It's important to note that a profile or summary has a different focus to a career objective. Some students do choose to start their resume with a career objective. However, we would suggest that you think carefully about including this kind of statement in your resume. Many of the career aim or goal type statements we see are too broad and sound very similar, so don't actually do the job of making you stand out. It's understandable, at this stage of your career, you're probably open to a range of opportunities. However, this doesn't convince the reader of your resume that you really want to work for them in the kind of work they offer. Our advice: stick with a profile or summary and steer clear of a career objective. The next section should focus on your education, listed in reverse chronological order. Include the name of your current course and any previous undergraduate studies in separate entries. Given you're now studying at master's level, you may decide to leave your secondary schooling out. Provide some detail about your course of study, 3 to 4 dot points. For example, you could include your projects and key assignments, some of your results, or a GPA statement if it's strong. Perhaps you've received awards or scholarships. List those here. Your aim is to give the reader an insight into what it is you have experienced and achieved whilst studying. If you've undertaken internships or other work experience during your undergrad, you might choose to put a brief listing here and then provide more detail in a later section. Next, you need to detail any relevant work experience or employment that you've had. These are experiences that complement your studies. So this is the section to include any internships you undertook as part of your undergrad studies, project work, or industry experience. So again, entries should be in reverse chronological order. Include the name of the company, your job title, and 3 to 4 dot points about your work. Remember, be specific. It is more effective to choose 1 or 2 key things for each experience and provide details about what you did, how you did it, and what the outcome was. Think achievements, outcomes, highlights, not just a list of tasks or duties. Employers want to know not only about your technical, discipline-based knowledge and experiences, they also want to know how you do your work. Do you work well in a team? Do you understand what it means to work with a customer or client? Do you appreciate what it takes to run a profitable business? Think about your experiences and what you have learnt and developed. What can you draw out of them that is transferable to the position you're applying for? In the next section of your resume, You need to record any other types of employment you've had. So this might be some retail or hospitality work, or if you've had a career in another field. Keep to the same format as before, reverse chronological order, name of company and job title. For this section, there's no need to list all your duties. Instead, you might like to focus on a few skills that these jobs have allowed you to develop. Choose skills that are transferable to the work you are seeking. For example, say you worked part-time in a cafe. A civil engineering consulting firm is probably not interested in your ability to use a cash register, but they will be interested in your ability to establish a positive relationship with regular customers and your ability to work under pressure. Think about what you've learnt or demonstrated about customer service. Companies often want to use their interns and graduates in meetings with clients. Let's take a closer look at how to structure these kinds of specific statements describing your experiences. We refer to them as achievement statements. Here's 2 examples. Demonstrated leadership skills in training 6 new staff to operate the cash register. Worked as part of an effective team and served over 1,000 customers within an hour during a football match. The key to putting these kinds of statements together is to start with a verb, so in this case, demonstrated, worked, add the key words and some quantitative information around it if you can. You need to think about your problem or situation, describe your action, and talk about an outcome if you can. These are just simple examples. Yours may be more complex. Next, list your extracurricular activities and interests. These might be group-based, such as being involved in a discipline-based student club or playing soccer for a university or community team. Perhaps you have some individual interests like playing an instrument, or you completed a challenging hike last year, or maybe you volunteer within the community. If you have an interest that's closely linked to your degree, then be sure to highlight that here. Perhaps you volunteer to teach code at a community centre, or you recently entered an engineering competition. There is some debate about whether resumes should contain this kind of information, but by keeping it short and by using statements instead of lists, this section of your resume allows you to show your personal qualities such as commitment, self-motivation, and the ability to get along with others. See some examples of these kinds of statements in the slide. We also encourage you to consider joining a professional association as a student. So for engineering students, this might be Engineers Australia or the Australian Computer Society. There's no need to go into a lot of detail. Keep it simple, stating you're a current member and the full name of the organisation. If you're a member of a student organisation that has a professional focus, then include that here as well. You might choose to add a point or 2 about your involvement, as this example shows. In the final section of your resume, you'll need to include the details of your referees. You should have at least 2 referees on your resume. You might choose a supervisor from your part-time work or an academic that you know. You'll need to provide the full name, position title, company and contact details, including phone and email. For advertised positions, we suggest listing the full details of your referees. If you're sending a resume off to a company to see if they have a possible opportunity, or you're distributing your resume through your network, you may choose to keep the details of your referees off your resume. In this case, state that the referees are available on request. The main reason to do this is so that you know if any employers are interested in connecting with you, and it prevents your referees from receiving calls without you having had an opportunity to let them know first. If you can, work towards having 4 to 5 people that you could ask to be a referee. This gives you some flexibility in who you ask to be your referee for each potential position. So, we've covered the key resume sections. Before we finish, let's take a short look at some final points for you to be aware of as you complete your resume. The resume on screen will give you a bit of an idea of what yours might look like on the page. Ensure your resume is easy to read. Use bold for headings, avoid italics and underlining. Clear and consistent formatting is important. Choose one plain font in size, say 11 to 12. Balance the amount of text and white space. Put dates, titles and full stops in similar places. Some common mistakes that we see with student resumes: you need to check and recheck your spelling and grammar. Don't rely on spell checker, it doesn't pick up all of the errors. If writing and grammar are not your strong points, ask a trusted friend to have a look at it for you. As I've mentioned, formatting. Ensure you've used an easy-to-read, professional-looking format. Use a consistent heading style, a standard font. Check your spacing and alignment are all consistent. And avoid MS Word or online resume templates. Come up with something original. Resumes that have too much or too little information are also common. Remember, your resume is an example of your written communication skills. Too much information with flowery language makes your resume complicated, and too little information leaves the reader having to guess about your skills. Students often don't take the time to tailor their resume to the job and the organisation. The reader of your resume may have many applications to sort through. Applications that are not tailored for the position or company are unlikely to be successful because they don't create a link between you and the job in the mind of your reader. Make it easy for the reader to see how you are connected to the job or the organisation. For example, the company may tell you in the position description that they highly value new ideas. Then be sure then to include an example of when you have worked innovatively with new ideas. Also, avoid general, broad statements. Anyone can write great team player on their resume. You need to be specific. As a member of a case competition team, I ensured that our team stayed on track to meet deadlines by collaboratively planning a project schedule and putting in place calendar entries and a reminder system for the whole team. So you show what, keeping a team to deadlines, and you show how, by using calendar tools. Some final tips for you. Once you've put together your resume, take some time to step back. Ask yourself, does it tell the reader the most important information about you and your ability to undertake the role? Get some feedback from others. What is their overall impression of your resume? It's worth remembering that our focus here is securing an internship. Take a moment to think about what an employer might be looking for in an intern. Willingness to learn, open to new experiences, and the ability to fit into a team might be important to many internship employers. Even though a resume is generally 2 to 3 pages long, it's not uncommon for resumes to have a number of drafts as you refine the information. Be prepared to spend the time to get it right. See the work required as an investment in your professional future and your resume as an evolving record of your professional profile. For further advice, including some templates, see the resources on the Engineering and IT Internships portal. You can also access various careers services and campus events via Stop One. Thanks for watching.